Introduce yourself to my new viewers.
This is OG Cutes and Magnificent 7 Westside Crip. And, you know, I've been a part of this platform, you know, for many years. I heard about Kev when I was in the joint. He had blessed some of the brothers inside the pen with the magazine. So, you know, I seen some of the homeboys on the cover, you know, one of my loved ones, and I was like, wow, you know, this is pretty cool. I always told Kev, you know, man, I wish you would put a singles thing inside of the magazine where you could write females or advertise yourself in the magazine. But it, you know, it would have got there. So that's, you know, that's what it's about. And
I'm Big Keithstone from Rolling 60s. You know what I mean? Shit, I've been trying to help Kev on this platform, you know, speak some history, you know what I mean, some wisdom, try to bring it together. I'm up here with Cutes, the homies, way back, original. You know, now I could even find out a few things that I didn't know when we was growing up, when I was a youngster coming up behind them. So we here just to spit it and pop it.
Kev Mac video, you know, this is for sure. Kev Mac video, open your soul, represent your ghetto, baby. Kev Mac video, you know, this is for sure. Kev Mac video, open your soul, represent your ghetto, baby. For the dime moves and the lokes, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole, for the homegirls with the scrap game, little homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you been through, shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf, I know them killers you kin to. This for the lost generation, broke as hell, mad and impatient. But if you know your history, you can't have a strong foundation, baby. Kev Mac video, you know, this is for sure. Kev Mac video, open your soul, represent your ghetto, baby.
So, Stone, I'm gonna ask you one question. Do you remember when you first heard the Cutes?
Yeah, when I first came back out here from Texas, you know what I mean, like 70, that had to be 71, 72, I actually seen Cutes and he just stand out because I never forget, he had the two-tone leather coat with the matching hat to go with it, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know, and you know, he had the whole crew behind him, you know what I mean? This is Brother Rusty now, so yeah.
All right, so this is what I want you to do, Stone. If it's too much pressure, let me know. Since you said you could find out some things that you didn't know, you know, fill in some blanks, you got any questions for Cutes?
Well, starting off just like when we got to the long table, I've heard you speak on it, but that day when we had that big old commotion up there, what was that about?
what happened is that this brother that everybody loved, you know, and had admiration for, he had got murdered. And so when he got murdered, there was another guy at the long table who said the victimizer of the dude, you know, who supposedly had done the homicide, you know, he would say, that's my relative, you know.
Are you speaking about Salty or Bartender?
Salty.
Yeah.
So Salty, he had got murdered.
Right,
you know?
I remember that.
And so we were all like wanting to see him because all the brothers were starting to get out the second wave. The second wave of G's were getting out of YTS. The first wave of G's to get out of YTS was Michael Christian, Sugar Bear, Bulldog, you know, you want to say Big Cartoon, Crazy Crip. You know, it was a group that was getting out.
Right.
You know, and they got out in the early 70s, like 74 and 75. All them brothers started coming home. So then the next wave of brothers, started coming home, Mac Thomas and all them, that was like 77. So they were all getting out. Ricky Silas, me, you know, we were all starting to group through the system. So then a little after that, you know, we like, well, 76, I ended up going basically to YA.
Is that for the incident at the long table?
Yeah, and that and some more incidents. So I ended up going to the long table. I ended up going to YA. And when I got to YA, Mac and them was getting ready to go home.
Right.
So it was just me, Heron, and a couple more brothers, Zig and Cartoon. You know, we were out, Hoover Joe, they were all getting out.
Right.
They were getting ready to go home. So this was the second batch. That was, so we were, they were like, oh man, you got here too late. You know, they were like that. You know? But before I got there, that's what happened. Sarti had just got out from the second wave, and we were all happy, you know, we were going to see him. You know, Lightbulb had already got out. He had already came and prepped us, telling us that he was going to get out. So Sugar Bear basically had introduced us to these dudes, said, oh, these dudes were staying down in YA, you know, these some good brothers. They're going to be coming home. They're going to be a part of this, you know. And so we were looking forward to seeing them, you know, but, you know, we got to see Lightbulb, but we never got to see Salty, you know, like that. So what had happened is, this other brother, he said that, well, the dude who did it, he was saying that that's his relative, and he was like, you know, I guess to some of the brothers, he was like, you know, bolstering it,
right,
you know,
right.
like, and then there was sentimental feelings, you know, that were involved and stuff. So he ended up getting hurt, you know, taken out.
Right,
and so when he got taken out, then we didn't know. It was a group of us from the neighborhood, our neighborhood, that didn't know that all of this stuff had transpired, because this going on the other side of town.
Right,
so we don't got cell phones. We don't. So yeah. So me and Moncrief, we hit the corner in the foe on 46, and so Babyface and all of them, they run up to the car and they say, hey man, the peace treaty's over, it's on, it's cracking. So-and-so just got killed in Compton, and this happened here and that happened there. And we like, oh shit. So now we turn around, and now like 19 cars hit the corner, all brim. So we thinking they coming to move on us. Right. But they're not coming to move on us. Later on, the Brims told me why they came up there so deep. They came up there because they wanted to try and get money for the funeral of their homeboy that had got assassinated.
Yeah, because I know that was me, Babyface, Slew, Rip, QT. We was the one hit the corner with his face.
Yeah.
He had came to the hood to get us, Big Rick. And all of it was matter of fact, it was 2 carloads of us that went up there.
Yeah, so everything was predicated on miscommunication and overreacting, you know, but you would rather react and be wrong than not react and be smashed.
Right.
In this type of hellish environment that was taking place at that time, because violence had reached a very high level.
Yeah, because I remember what I remember from that day is right before the clash, the real clash. See, all of the young G's at the time, which is me, Q10, we was all outside, conjugating.
Yeah.
I was in the inside trying to work it out. So when that didn't go off, that's when all the chaos ensued. Because we went across the street, we ransacked the liquor store, we started doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
And then when we coming back across Broadway, we hear gunshots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it like I said, it reached a violent level. And a lot of homies walked up there.
Absolutely.
And some people had more information than other people. Some people had a little bit of information. Some people knew the whole story.
Right.
You know, I mean, we did something that had never been done in Los Angeles. We had a peace treaty where everybody basically was getting along that brought into the peace treaty. And the reason we were able to do it is because we got G's from every set within the community, of the east side, the west side, you know.
Yeah, I was getting $50 checks.
Yeah, which helped, you know, influence people to come and hear what was being talked about.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you sit in the room with Bulldog and you listen to his conversation and the way that he expresses himself, you would buy into it. I mean, here's a good brother, you know, who's articulating well, you know, and his motive is pure. He's not trying to use this to do anything wrong. So, you know, it was all good because that's how he rolled. He never needed a bunch of dudes behind him to do anything. I would see him do things by himself all the time.
I remember when we first started going up there, we used to, the door that you entered used to be on 46 on the side.
Yeah.
Go through the back, and then eventually they moved it around to the front.
Well, I used to park my car back there so nobody could bomb rush and come through that back door. Yeah.
But that's how we started. Then everybody started going to the front. But like I say, back then I was probably 15, 16 years old, so I really didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
But I used to just sit down and listen.
I would hard search everybody except for guys from my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I wouldn't search them. I would just give them a top pat and let them in.
Right.
You know. But if someone was stupid enough to come in and I felt it, they fronted me off. Now you got to go put it in the room.
Right.
Got to go give it, you know, get it when we leave.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like that.
So, Q, do you think the round table was a success or not?
I think what had happened is all of this violence that had took place in such a short period of time, because people were getting out of YTS with a lot of animosity, and they were at the height of their thug, because you get your college education and being a thug in YTS. So these brothers that were getting out, they were primed. The pump was already primed. You know, through going to camp and being in juvenile hall and being around each other, whatever arguments occurred inside of YA. And people get to telling their war stories when they're inside of YA, and people hear, you know, well, you're the one that did that, or you're the one that said this, or you're the one that came by and did that. You know, people start putting bigger pieces of the puzzle together. Now that creates revenge within an individual that doesn't want to forgive the person for the infraction. It's hard to forgive someone if someone, you know, demise came from their behavior, you know, inside of the theater. But some people can, some people can't. I'm one of the individuals that can forgive, and I get that quality to you know, having a higher power. I could do time. I already did time. I know how to do time. So if I say I could forgive, I can really forgive. I don't gotta say I forgive and then be deceitful and then go do sneaky shit. I never been a sneaky person.
Now it takes a strong man to be able to forgive for something that's to some people is unforgivable.
Yeah, and so that's a whole different dynamic within a person's mind. Now, if I was still using drugs and getting high, then my old brain would be in charge of me.
Right.
You know, and then it would be more of the same.
Well, you know, we come up in that time when the slogan was "Try it, you'll like it," right?
Yeah.
Because all that shit was brand new.
It was brand new, yeah. And it was good. Now we already been through it. You know, we didn't have a playbook or a blueprint of the end result, but now we do. So now, if a youngster don't want to listen to us, then that's on him. Absolutely. If he want to go spend all of his life incarcerated, then that's on him. But we see it all the time. As soon as they get, you know, ready to get sentenced, they get to, you know, making that deal. You know, they turn into Benedict Arnold, they drop out, they go, you know, informant. They do all of these things, but you work so hard for this funky reputation, but when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, you don't want to, you wasn't really that person to begin with. If